I'm recording this the week of the Nashville shooting. This week on Monday, it was actually on my birthday, which was kind of a difficult thing to have happen on a day you're trying to celebrate. This week on Monday, a 28-year-old young adult took the lives of 3 9-year-olds and 3 adults who had given their life in the service of this Christian school community in Nashville. And I think every time these things happen in our country, it's just so devastating for all of us. Some of us say, I'm growing a bit numb to it. Others of us say, I just don't know what to do. How can we help? Others get angry. For myself, I end up feeling a bit shocked at first and overwhelmed, not sure how to manage it. And then as it begins to sink in and I read the articles and I find out the lives of those who were lost, I put myself in that position, thinking about what was it like that moment before their death, that they, experienced someone with a gun and coming at them, and just for a little one to experience that, it's just so devastating. Thinking about the families of those who have lost their family member, these little ones, just so precious, and the others who are likely fathers and mothers and husbands and wives, and just in the peak of their own lives and experiencing such a devastating loss to their families. And then we think about the shooter and what was going on in that person's life, that they would be so lost, looking at the pictures of this person when they were younger and then seeing the pictures of them more recently, and just thinking what happened in that person's life that they would be that off track to harm someone, and what must that family be going through? Just knowing how devastating it would be to have raised a child, and for that child to go so wayward that they wouldn't just take their own life, but that they would take other people's lives as well. So that's kind of what I've been going through this week, just waking up, thinking about it, going to bed thinking about it, reading about it, and just being prayerful in my own heart and soul of, Lord, how can we respond to this type of devastating experience that we're having in our culture? What can we do to help change things? How can we heal? My name is Monica Maurer. I am a licensed therapist and I'm a supervisor as well. I'm also the director of the Center for Transformation. And at the Center for Transformation, we exist to partner with therapists to help therapists grow personally and professionally. We use that through a curriculum called the Life Model. And we have, as a practice, adopted the Life Model as a primary foundation for the way that we see ourselves grow and how we want to transfer growth to clients. Now we are trained in a plethora of other psychological approaches and theories and modalities, but Life Model is foundational for us because we've found so much growth and movement for ourselves. So now we're partnering with the founding program organization Life Model Works, and we're developing a therapeutic curriculum. And so as I see what's happened in Nashville this week, I'm thinking also about, what does this mean for Life Model, and how can we see this through a Life Model lens? One of the things I really love about the Life Model is the approach to the whole enemy mode type of way that we tend to be just as humans, but we see that profoundly in our culture, even in the last few years politically, just so divided and thinking of people as our enemies. Recently, the Life Model has come out with a book called Escaping Enemy Mode. In fact, it is right here. Love this book. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see me holding up a book, Escaping Enemy Mode. Wonderful book. I've just read and reread it in the last couple months since it's come out, and it's just powerful to think about the us and them concept. Our brains tend to go into enemy mode and thinking of others as a them instead of thinking of all humanity as an us. And I think there's no time more relevant than when we experience such a horrible, devastating tragedy as we have this week in Nashville, to think of the shooter as a them, to think of the shooter's family as a them, what they should have done, to think of the people who lost their lives and their family as an us. Or we go into thinking about our opinions about what should have happened differently. There should be no guns, or there should be a better care for people who are mentally unwell, or I know this shooter had a transgender orientation, and there's a sense of that being an us and them in our culture right now as well. And Life Model speaks to that. It speaks to this idea of coming together and not viewing people through the lens of an enemy mode, but really being higher ordered, having a higher level of consciousness. And as therapists, we're called to come out in society as people who have unconditional positive regard, no matter what someone's going through, no matter what they're experiencing, have experienced, have done, that we can come to the table with unconditional positive regard for our clients. Dan Siegel talks about the same thing in interpersonal neurobiology, that we want to rise to a different level of consciousness in the way that we view other humans, so that we love. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have boundaries, but so that we love. And as therapists, it's really hard to do that, to come away and to think about others as, even if they're hurting others, as an us, as people we love and we want to care for and we want to help. And we may need to put strong boundaries up. We may need to have people go to places where they're helped, but not where they can't harm others. But it's important that we think about how we can heal all humanity, which brings me to the topic of what is causing these things to happen. And I think we don't know. If we really, really knew, maybe we would solve it. But maybe us being in an us and them about the solution is preventing us from getting on the same page with how to help our country heal, how to help our nation get on the same page. The gun debate is roaring, and it's politicized. And because of that, we can't get on the same page. The pharmaceutical debate is roaring, and who knows what's going on. I think as therapists, we see our clients get on pharmaceuticals and go into suicidality and homicidal ideation. And thankfully, when our clients are with us, we have protocols in place for how to navigate that. But what if the person isn't with a client or with a therapist who they have an unconditional positive regard with, a therapist who can do a duty to warn? And what if this person isn't talking to a trusted other who is a professional and knows how to navigate these things? Then what happens in those kinds of situations? Is that what we're seeing here? Or are these people feeling so disenfranchised because of the breakdown of the family system, or because of the low joy environments that we experience in our culture? And that's where Life Model comes in handy as well. We learn about what is a low joy environment? What does it mean to live in a high joy versus a low joy environment? What does it mean as therapists for us to develop and establish a high joy environment with our clients, to help them establish that outside of our setting, or to get them involved in groups that are high joy environments, where the most dominant brain in the group is a gentle protector brain, not a bully brain. These are the things that Life Model offers to us as therapists, understanding how to help our clients feel connected, a place to belong. The Life Model goes through something called the 5 to Thrive. The 5 to Thrive is 5 things that need to happen in order for a client to thrive in their life. And in order for us as therapists, or us as the world, to thrive, we need a place to belong, a place to give and receive life, a place to recover from our malfunctions, our traumas, the things that didn't go right, a place to mature, to actually fill in those gaps of things that we didn't get from our childhood, from our infancy, and a place to learn to know our own hearts, to grow into what it means to be me, fully my truest identity, to see myself through the eyes of heaven, to see myself through the lens of grace, and to get to know my true core part, and to not faction off into my wounded part and live from that place. And so I think that's must be what's happening here, is that these shooters are living from a wounded place where they don't know their true identity. And then they're acting out of that wounded place and devastating our world, harming families, harming humans because they're wounded and harmed themselves. So my call to action is, let's think about these things. As therapists, get engaged with whatever curriculum can help you learn and grow more so that we can be agents of healing and growth in our culture. We've found the Life Model, and we would love to offer the Life Model more and more to you. We're getting ready to come out with our first ever training video. It is going to be launched here in the next couple of weeks, and we have many more right behind it coming your way. So attach to us here at cftinstitute.com. If you haven't been following our podcast at The Place Therapists Grow, please follow us there, and I look forward to the continued conversation.